I'm Banks.
I am Josh.
We are odd places.
Going viral.
Ooh,
All right.
fighting.
That was just my kung fu there.
Yeah.
Uh, like it or leave it. Do you agree?
Uh, you're talking
Like it or
about.
leave it.
You're talking about anything, right? Are you talking about our country? You talking about America?
Yeah, in a way I am because I posted something the other day in my Edge group, and someone says, "Hey, like it or leave it. If you don't like this country, leave it." And I just thought, isn't that the most anti-American thing you can possibly say?
No, I don't think it's the most anti. You
Really?
mean like it or leave it, or change it? Change it. Be a part of it. Be a
No, but
part
that
of the
wasn't an
solution.
option. No,
I
no,
know.
that wasn't the option. The
Oh,
option was like it, accept systemic racism, accept that we're a white Christian nation, or leave. Right? Kind of the inference was go back to where you came from, even though I was born here.
okay.
So
So
I'm just wondering,
there's
but that's
there's
anti-American in my opinion.
uh, like it or leave it, and you only have two choices. That's all you have in this situation, which is very, I feel, very narrow. Okay,
Yes,
I like to look at it as like it, leave it, or you know what, change it. Change
correct.
it. I had a situation like this where a gentleman was talking to me about this country as a cesspool. He used different words, and uh, I thought he was saying the country. I don't know what he was saying. He was just saying all this broad stuff, and I said, "So what are you going to do about it?" And he stopped, and he was like, "Oh, I was in the military. I believe in this country." All of a sudden we can spout out all this garbage
Hmm.
about this, and then once you're called on it, boom, you have to go, well, I want to stay here. I love it. This is my home. This is whatever the situation can be. I think though that in this situation, let's go with your situation. In your situation, like it or leave it. Yeah, he was given two choices. Definitely too narrow.
Right, right. But because he didn't want to change it, and that's the key. When someone says like it or leave it, what they're really saying is, I don't want to change it. I want to keep it the way it's always been. I want to make America great again. I want to bring it back to the 50s when we had different water fountains for colored people. I want to bring it back to the time when slaves didn't talk back to their masters, where we can actually have a beautiful society of white Christian people and not have all these other folks bringing their traditions into our country. This is what the guy was saying.
Yeah, the status quo. Let's keep the status quo. Status
Yeah,
quo. Whoever the gentleman was, I'm in a good position.
correct.
I have favorability because of my
Yeah,
race or my gender
privilege.
or
Mhm.
possibly privilege too, and keep it the status quo. And I see that argument to keep the status quo. Yes, people in power want to stay in power.
Correct.
That's how power works. People that are not in power are working to get into power, which is
Correct.
too bad. I, I mean, and that's a broad generalization. I think people should come together and share the power. I mean, this is what democracy is. We vote once every 4 years, nationwide, and everybody is equal that day. And we've had a discussion on this before. So yeah, it is a threaten. It's a threat on power.
Yes, 100%. And change is, I can't think of anything more American than change. Even apple pie isn't quite as American. I think that's English, anyways, as change. So when someone says, you're not allowed to speak out because I like it the way it is, you're not allowed to speak out, you can't change it, I don't want you doing anything, get the hell out of here. That, to me, I don't know if there's anything more anti American because this country was founded on change. It was founded on revolt. It was founded, right? The whole purpose was get out from the oppression of the British regime, right? So we were founded on dissent. Change this, change this. We need to. I just couldn't think, like, how ironic that these people that probably call themselves patriots don't want change. They don't want to fix and make this country better.
lose power, lose the
Because it
privilege.
requires losing power. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. It requires sharing power.
Change. Let's talk about that real quickly. Change is inevitable. We cannot help it. Change is going to happen. Change is happening. 10 years ago, Me Too generation, or how many years ago, began, and that changed how men and women and genders react and act towards each other and with each other.
Yeah.
What, 2 years ago, a year and some days, the Black Lives Matter. No, that's I'm talking George Floyd. That spark that happened a year and some time ago created a race awareness of how we treat everybody. Change is happening.
Right.
We're in this river. We're on this surfboard
Yeah.
with everybody
And
else.
there's 74 million people afraid of change, because that's what it is. It's a fear of change, a fear, perceived or real,
Right.
of loss of power, of loss of privilege.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're at.
Um, yeah, I mean, you say the 78 million because that's how many people voted
No,
for one
74. It's only 74.
74. I'm arguing that's actually a smaller number. I got to sneeze. Maybe not. Maybe it can hold it. I'm saying that's a smaller number. I get the number. I'm not going to argue the number. Let's say that is the amount of people. Yes. No, I have to argue this.
But that
Those 4 million people voted for the candidate for all different reasons, not to lose power. I think in the back of their head, power, it was not it. It was like, I want this for abortion. I want this for, I want to be considered or classified. I want conservative values, whatever that
okay, so conserving the way things were in the past, which is exactly what where their family and their ancestors had power and privilege. Got it. Yeah. So we agree. I'm so glad. I was worried. I was like, I don't know where you're going, but hey, I think we agree.
Yeah. So back to my scenario that happened with me with the gentleman, and he
Yeah.
just said, "This is muck," and then I said, "What's your options?" And all of a sudden he came back, and I want to stay here. I love it here. I think when people throw out live like it or leave it, this is terrible, horrible. If you dig deep or you ask questions, why or what do you mean, or get clarity instead of just this broad stuff. Because I find myself in conversations with people, I think more now, where I have no idea what we're talking about. And when I clarify it, okay, what do you mean? Who do you mean? What do you that opens us up to, oh, they don't even mean, they don't know what they mean.
They don't know what they're talking about.
They don't know what they're talking about. Absolutely. So when you can have a conversation with someone and there's none of this nebulous, where the heck are they coming from? Let's come back. So you're saying this, they'll say something and I go, okay, so you're saying this. No, I mean this. All right. So you're saying this. No, I mean this, that makes it so that you can throw garbage at each other as much as you want. However, you're not getting anywhere because you're not connecting. You're not talking. You're not getting to the core of it. And I think
You're not in the
most
same
of us,
language. Yeah.
yes. And I think most of us do not know what we're talking about. I included. I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes. That's why I asked for clarification.
Well, wait, what do you mean by that? Yeah. And so, yes, we don't know what we're talking about. And there's also the point where when you ask that person, you ask that guy, well, how would you change it? He might have had some solutions, but he might have been too ashamed to even mention them, because they would have been things, or they could have been things like, we need to go back to, whatever in the past. I'm not even going to name them off again, but whatever, however things were in the past. And that stuff's that's shameful, and they know it's shameful, but they want it anyways. And it's unfortunate that we're so stuck in this rut. I think we're stuck in a rut in this country like this.
All right. How do we get out of it? 40 seconds. How do we get out? 35 seconds.
Besides kick people in the groin, we look, the number, I think the biggest thing is helping people accept change. Look, the guy you're talking to, the guy that talked to me, hey, change is coming. We're becoming more diverse. We're becoming a bigger melting pot. Change is coming. Do you want to embrace it or do you want to ignore it? Because if you ignore it, you're going to get left behind. If you embrace it, there's still a possibility you're going to have a good share of the power. You're going to have a nice life and your kids are going to be fine. Give them the choice.
Your kids and your grandkids will end up looking alike. I mean,
we're all going to be brown. We're all going to be the same shade of brown eventually.
Yeah. I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd places going
viral.